Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another R&D stream. In this stream, we are going to continue our previous stream wherein we were working on optimizing Bootstrap's CSS and the JavaScript for the production, wherein we achieved our goal in the last stream, which was compressing the JavaScript and CSS files to nearly around like 10 to 20 KB. And in this video what we are going to do is we are going to like share our discoveries or missing documentation that needs to be added on the Bootstrap docs. So in order to do that, we will need to create some pull requests to the Bootstrap on the GitHub. And in the last stream as well, like we already started, and due to some technical issue we had to stop that and start stop the stream. And today we are going to continue from that. And in previous stream, like we had some templates going on and everything. So just to give a brief idea, what I'm going to do now is I'll just walk you through like what we are doing right now and how we are going to proceed further for the pull request. So one of the thing which we did in our last stream is that we forked the Bootstrap, and we created it some PR on our branches and everything. So as you can see, like this, there has been a fork on our end as well. So so when you click on this, it will just create a fork, and this will create the repository on our end. As you can see here, it says the fork from Twitter Bootstrap. And after that, what I've done is I did clone this repository, which is like mine URL, like this one. And after this, I just opened it into editor and trying to set things up here. So just to give you the brief idea about how Bootstrap works is, I think one of our stream is already explain what's going on in there, but everything mostly happens in here, the CSS and the JavaScript directories, wherein there is some tooling in place wherein it converts all the CSS, which allows us to get the distribution level JavaScript and the CSS. So eventually we can configure these and only select all the files that we need, and using additional tools or plugins, for example per CSS, we can optimize the bundle size for the production. That's what we did. But in this stream, we are going to send some pull requests to the Bootstrap documentation. So in order to do that, we had to clone this repository. And the way Bootstrap works, like this website is it is a static website generated by Hugo. So Hugo is another framework that is used by Bootstrap and many other documentation sites that uses has the documentations and everything. And also there is it's just a headless CMS or kind of thing you can use, but there are many use cases in here. So I'm not going to cover the Hugo, but Bootstrap uses it for their documentation. And what we are going to do here is we have already cloned it, and in order to get things up and running, we have to set things up in here. So one of the thing we did in the last stream is that we know how to start the server. Is the command is installing Hugo server. That will give you this command. And then I think it was something called serve or start. Let's just cross check. Okay, so yeah, it's building the server, this project that's in here, and it will start the Bootstrap what you see on the getbootstrap.com. You will see that on the localhost. So as you can see, it has finished the building the server, and it's running at localhost 1313. So let's try to open that. Yeah, and as you can see now, the site is running locally, and the entire documentation as everything is running locally as well. And in here now, what we are going to do is we were going to send the pull request for the webpack documentation, and one of these added things was like this extracting CSS. If you go and check like before, even if like the PR is approved, as you can see, this is not in the production. This is where we added this topic into the our code in here at the moment, which we are going to send the PR. But how this documentation is working is very simple. Again, this is using Hugo under the hood, so there is some pattern going on in here. So if you open the site folder, under it there is something called like data static, and there are a lot of uh, directories in here, and under it, under the content, we have the docs folder. And if you go deep into that, and you'll find the structure that you see on the Bootstrap itself, and some files that is like doing some magic over there. And yeah, the same pattern you can find in the sidebar of the Bootstrap documentation, like content forms, components, and so on. Now what we are interested in into the getting started and the webpack.md. So this is the same file that renders this getting started section and the webpack file. And in here, what we did recently, in the recent trim, is as you can see in the git history here, I was trying to make some changes in here, and all those changes are in here as well. I added this section called extracting CSS, like remove unused CSS or something like that. And I'm trying to add the documentation wherein we'll be configuring the Perl CSS and so on. So this will be our first PR that we are going to send to the Bootstrap. And yeah, let's see like how this goes, and we'll discover how we are going to open the PR. And we have to keep in mind the community guidelines from the Twitter Bootstrap to like opening the PR, how you should open it, and so on. So there is not much of it things to be do, you have to be aware of it, but there are some certain patterns that these like Bootstrap repository follows, like that team or team member follows. And we have to commit in that order, and we have to commit in a specific pattern for the git message, and attach some labels on it. So for example, if you were to update the docs file, then as you can see here, there is a pattern like it says docs : then the commit message, and so on. So same pattern we are going to use here as well, and eventually we are going to send the PR over here. Okay, so this is how we are going to send the PR. We already have the fork, and we have made some initial changes, not the final ones, because we still have to add some additional files in here as well. And in order to do that, let's see how they are getting these diff previews. So after this, we can just see what is the difference between here and there as well. Another thing in the Twitter Bootstrap is that they do have getting started examples. So we'll probably have to check those first, and after that make changes into that, and use the git diff, I guess, to figure out what was changed, to get the pattern that we see in their documentation. So let me just try to just figure out how they are using it. If I run the git diff, okay, so basically they are running git diff and so on. So we'll basically need to copy that somehow in there as well. So is there any different approach they are using in the examples that allows them to distinguish automatically that how they're generating the different versions of the how they are generating that different version preview in the added to be the markdown file and so on. So what I'm going to do is I think I do have the repository open somewhere in my just a second. I think I need to clone that repository, the Bootstrap example repository. Okay, I got it. Let me just open that repository in here. just to see if that works. Nope. Can I drop the redirectory in the PHP storm? Yet trust project. Okay, so now I have opened the Bootstrap example directory, and this is another clone from the Bootstrap, another repository called examples. In here, they have these examples of multiple frameworks that are configured to use the Bootstrap. Now what we are interested in is the webpack, and in here let's say we have to install the webpack's dependencies first. So what we are going to do is we are going to uh, set up on this project first, and then let's see first like what libraries they are using. Bootstrap, their dependencies, yeah, so they are not using like CSS minifire plugin or everything, which is fine. So now what we're going to do is like going to the webpack, and in here I'm just install all the npm dependencies. Let me just stop the server for a minute. Okay. Yeah, and once the dependencies are installed, like we do have a command called npm build, so let's try to run that as well. So this will give us the base metrics for like the css file or the JavaScript compile file, like how much files there are, what is the size of the files that is in there. What we are interested in is the file that we are going to change, which is the webpack config, and this is where majority of changes are going to happen. So in the webpack config, what we have to configure is purge css plugin, and we have to set up this pattern in here, and along with, yeah, I think that's it for the purge css. Remainings are like css minimizers and everything. So we are only focusing on the removing unused css, and this is what we have added in the documentation, like the changes that we are making right now. So we cannot do that in here probably because we have this index.html. Okay, so I think we can do that in here as well. So first thing we are going to do is we are just going to keep everything as it is. We should not have any git changes in here. Yeah. Now we are going to need to like install the purge css plugin. Again, these are the discoveries that we had uh, uh, discovered during our R&D of web or like Bootstrap optimization. So I'm just going to go into the like their documentation and install the Bootstrap and Webpack purge CSS plugin. And I think we have already added this remove unused css command. Is like you have to run this line like npm install saved out and webpack plugin. So this will make like update this package.json file as well. Okay, now that we have installed the webpack plugin here, as we are going to configure the webpack and update the config, and this is where we are just going to pull some of the optimizations that we did and just copy paste into the webpack config file, so that we'll get the exact thing that what we are looking for. And in this webpack config, we are going to import this purge css plugin. Okay, and then we have to like configure this purge css as well. So in order to do that, we'll just copy paste this another thing plugin configuration from here to here as well. Okay, so there are a few things happening like safe list and some things like this. Uh, so what's going on here is we are registering this plugin with the Bootstrap, and then we are specifying which path to look for. So as you can see, there is like paths.src going on, but which is not added in here as well. So we'll need to specify the paths as well. And then we have to configure the plugins. Like there is one more requirement is that we have to import the glob and just specify this path too. So after that this should work fine. Like okay, sorry, like uh, we haven't copied the glob yet. Okay, we have to copy this line as well. Okay, so we what we are doing here is we are registering the plugin, but along with that plugin, we are passing some configurations that we want to use. One of the properties, the paths. What this does is it takes the like objects or list of the directories wherein we should directories or files wherein we should look for the which CSS classes has been used, and per CSS will look for those classes into like look into those files and like extract which classes are used and only keep those classes into the final bundle file. Then we have this safe list. Safe list is some in the case wherein you want to include some classes which may not be directly added into your index.html or whatever the page that you have. For example, in the Bootstrap we have like drop downs and everything, but when the drop down actually works, it adds like show class on that specific div of that, or div or button, whatever the button or whatever the element that we are using. It adds that a show class on that, so that class get excluded by default if we do not specify this safe list. So any other details, like we'll be adding that into the documentation, like where to refer to these configurations and how to configure these as well. So now these are the three things, like configurations that we need to make, and let's try to run the build again just to check if everything is working fine. I think I was in the mute, so I glad that this is not working. Minics extract plugin is not available. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up it according to the docs first, and then I'm going to configure the plugin as well. So first thing, we need to install the mini CSS, and then we have to import that here, which is already been done. So for some reason it's not working. Oops, my bad. This will not be the string. This will be like a reference to the import, and let's give it a try again. It's taking time. Okay, now we have the CSS separated, which is like 135 KB. And what we are going to do now is let's commit this with status. Okay, we have one file. Okay, now we have this done properly. Now we'll follow our steps to like install the uh, per CSS plugin. So I'll just copy this one and install that plugin. And after this, we are going to configure the webpack config, wherein we will need to copy some settings from our repository, which is like importing the plugin first. Then we will be need to like configure the per CSS plugin, and we can do that by adding it after the mini CSS extract plugin. Along with this, we'll also need to copy these two variables as well. And the imports to the path and the glob. Path is already being done, so we'll just need the glob. Okay, so this one looks good. Yeah. So now, I think I already explained this how this is working. Paths specify where the HTML is, and separately specify which classes to include, regardless of whether this present in the HTML or not. So after this, I can just run npm run build. Our previous file size was 135. We should see very small size now. Okay, while this is happening, what we'll do, we are going to need that git diff that we'll need to paste into the documentation so that it can be added, something like what we are looking at here in the docs. Like if we go back in here and if we open the webpack, so we want this diff, git diff, that we can copy paste into the documentation file that we want to update. So first thing, we'll need to so while this build is happening, I'll just go and go to the chat GPT, and I want the cat git diff. Is there any way? I want the all diff. Without Vim. I think they're using like Vim or something. Okay, got it. No pager is something that we can use. If you would like to see differences in the file without adding text editor, like you can just say no pager to prevent it from launching the text editor. Is the command. This will display differences without opening any text editor of Vim. If you have any questions, okay, let's try this as well. So yeah, as you can see now, like the CSS is now 19 KB. Which is good, and after compressing it could go around like 5 KB as well. So that was like our intention, which we already did. And now what I'll need is I'll need that git diff here. So I'm going to just copy paste that command, and these are the files that we have changed. One of is like webpack config.js is the file that we want, and this is how I think Bootstrap team is using that as well. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it as it is into our file. We are not going to add this one because this is already being done. So this is something what we will need to be added in our PR. So in here, if we go back in here, mini CSS extract, and after that we have remove unused CSS. This is what we want to add, and the documentation goes as this, and the diff, that is something we want to update. And in here we can just paste this. Looks like it's not formatting. Is it correctly formatted? Yeah, I think so. It is correctly formatted, so this is fine. Let's try to view that into our page now. Okay, so according to this, what it says is like you can install, you have to install the Perl CSS Webpack plugin, and after that, okay, so I forgot that we had like terminated the server, so let's start that again. Okay, now server is running at the same port. We'll just refresh the page instead of loading in the new tab. So let's refresh this one. I think it's not done yet. Yeah, it's still compiling the site and building the static HTML and something like starting the dev server. Okay, some recursion error going on. Interesting. Okay, it's running on 1313. If we refresh it now, under remove CSS, we should see our changes. That is, first install this webpack plugin called Perl CSS webpack plugin, and then we have to add these lines. By the way, are they including the files? Yes, nice. So these are the ways they are adding these files. We have to configure the paths. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need some more documentation in here. So first thing, I'm just need to stop the server. I think my system is still not taking the load of the stream and this code editor together. So I'm just going to copy this and ask ChatGPT to optimize some of this code and just keep it as simple as possible. Okay, and okay, rewrite and write the docs. Just send it there. I'm not going to copy this one. I need this text. So they're adding this 1 and 2 heading. I don't think that is the pattern in here. So I'm just going to keep it very simple and remove the steps, please. But I still see the steps. Seriously? Okay, rewrite without steps. Okay, I think this is enough for me to okay, so this is one. What else we have? Certainly, to remove users from your final bundle, you can use the post CSS plugin. What these docs are saying, extracting CSS. Okay. Then initiate and I will use the plugin in the webpack configuration. So this is going to be our second statement in here after this one. And I need the short description of it, which is I'm going to copy from here. And I'm just going to paste this in here. Let me just quickly format. I think I did the formatting thing, which I should not have. Yeah, I shouldn't. Okay, let's undo that. No. Okay, what we need to do now, we need to just copy paste entire thing here. And undo the changes because we don't want to make large change in here. So okay, let's paste our CSS and documentation. And first thing, we are going to shape things up a little bit. To remove CSS from the final bundle, you can use Purge CSS Webpack plugin. Okay, this is highlighting what we want to use. Okay, we can remove this one. And after this, this is like this. Let's see how it looks into the rendering. like a completed rendered page. Okay, sorry, we do not have the server running. Meanwhile, we'll continue with other things. The div is fine, this is fine, this one looks fine. Okay, after this we'll need to add some more block that will help us explain how you should be configuring this. Okay, and in the second line what I'm going to do is, instead of adding the description at the end, I'm going to add it at the like so. And what it says, ensure that you customize the paths and the set list options according to your project needs, project structures and the requirements. Okay, and let's see if the server is up. It's up. Removing unused CSS. Okay, so to remove unused CSS from the final bundle, you can use the Purge CSS Webpack plugin. Purge CSS Webpack plugin. This is like we are repeating twice, and same thing I think is done over here as well. Webpack CSS loader Webpack plugin. And okay, so I don't think we'll need this word as well, I think, because it's kind of confusing. Then what we have here, okay, I think it got refreshed. To remove unused CSS from the final bundle, you can use the Purge CSS Webpack plugin. This plugin helps us eliminate CSS that is not used in your application, reducing the size of your CSS file. First, install the plugin, npm install savedev Purge CSS Webpack plugin. Then initiate and use the plugin in the Webpack configuration. Ensure that you customize the paths and the set list option according to your project structure and the requirements. Okay. In the example here, we are just specifying the paths to be dynamic, and we have to point out somewhere that this to be referred. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the link here. I think it would be way much better if we just specify this. I'm not sure like what is better and not, because I think we will have to give the explanation what's going on in here basically. Ensure you customize the paths according to need, and then I read more about the configuration at plugins documentation. Okay, and then I will need this URL to be like this. I don't think this URL will be like rendered as a URL, it will render as a string. Are they explaining what's going on in here? Okay, yes, they are explaining what's going on in here. So I'll need more simplified documentation in here, so I'll just rewrite. Okay, by following the steps. Okay, but plugins documentations. Yeah, there is some typo that I realized. Plugins documentation, and then I can say I want to add this URL in here and make it something like it's a link to, okay, it automatically added the link that I had copied. And if I go back on here, I should see that link as like a proper anchor tag. Yeah, plugins documentation. Okay, they're not explaining what's going on in here. Extracting this blah blah blah. Okay, a style loader configure convention makes this and this. Uh, so okay, manipulations and so on. Remove unused CSS. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do, like, I'll just update this over here, like ensure that this one, and we'll make something like after this one, we can explain what's going on. And the paths will specify where your HTML or like where your HTML files are, and then zip list will be zip list variable, like zip list option will allow you to define like which uh, read more of the configurations of that plugins documentation. Okay, so we can add that line actually here, so let's do that. Okay, the paths option in above example, in the above example, the path specifies where to look for HTML. Files and uh, only keep the CSS classes that are presented into that. Okay, and the div list option allows you to specify which classes to keep regardless of mm, whether they have been used or not. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just copy this and just, can you give me updated version of this, rewrite this line. In the provider, I think the path parameters defines where to search for that, where it includes things only retain those classes that are found in these files. Meanwhile, the setlist option empowers you to explicitly designate the classes that should be preserved, regardless of whether they are utilized in your project. Remember to tailor paths and setlist settings according to your project specific needs. For the more in-depth information about the configuration, consult the okay, can you keep it simple? Yeah, thank you. In the example, the paths parameter tells plugins where to select and only keep the CSS class in those files, and the setlist option list to make sure to adjust these paths. Okay, this one looks very promising. So what I'm going to do is just copy this and replace with this one. There you go. And let's see how this looks here. Remove unused CSS. Okay, final bundle, you can use the per CSS and so on. Okay, like how is in the example, the paths parameter tells option the plugin where to look for the files and only keep the CSS classes used in those files, and the separate option lets you specify which classes to keep even they are not directly used in your code. Make sure to adjust the paths and the set list to match your project's requirement in the form. Okay, perfect. So this one looks much better, and I think I'm going to make a commit on it. But before that, let me quickly go through the documentation. When I say remove unused CSS, to remove unused CSS from the final bundle, you can use the Purge CSS Webpack plugin. This plugin helps eliminate CSS that is not used in your application, reducing the size of your CSS files. First, install the plugin, npm install savedev Purge CSS Webpack plugin. Then initiate and use the plugin in the Webpack configuration. So in order to do that, you'll have to add these lines of the codes, Purge CSS plugin glob, and specify the paths. And then we register the plugin into the plugins options, and over here we specify the plugins configurations as well, which is like path which we are passing in here, and then zip list to like specify just example in here. So we are also explaining in the example the paths parameter tells plugins to where to look for the plugin. Okay, HTML. Okay, so this is added by the plugin, and clicking on this I will be redirected to this page. So now I just want to understand how these redirects are happening in here. Is there any link that is being external link that is being used in here? Okay, so that opens only into the same page. Okay, and I think I'm going to conclude this PR now, the pull request, and let's click on the remove unused CSS. Okay, this is redirecting to the Purge CSS plugins for the Webpack. Okay, interesting. This one looks good. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to commit it according to the Bootstrap guidelines, which says before that, let me check if there are any other changes that we have made. No, only one change, which is this remove unused CSS documentation. Okay, I'm selecting this file, and the documentation's pattern is something like this: docs add CSS optimization for Webpack. What we are doing in here, add unused CSS optimization. That makes more sense. Unused CSS optimization for Webpack. Okay, and do I have to include the full stop in here, like full stop? Sorry. No, I don't think so. And that's it. Like, just click on the commits. Is there any pattern on the pull request itself? I think I can like shut down the server because my system is kind of running slow. And before that, let's go and confirm these things on the Bootstrap stock. Like in the here, it doesn't look like there are any new PRs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the PR now. Oops, sorry, I was looking into the wrong repository. In here I will go to the Bootstrap and then we'll check this one. Okay, so these are the commits that were fixed, unnecessary, blah blah blah, and then how the PR structure is looking like. Okay, again the same pattern. You have to call the docs and then the name of this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to keep the same commit for that PR title as well. So I will commit this one and push to the my repository, and this is where we are going to create the PR2 directly to Bootstrap. Okay, I hope there is no processing going on after the commit. No. Okay, so I think that's it for the editor. I'm going to close it. Then we will be seeing those changes into my repository. So this should be in the Bootstrap of my repository. Bootstrap under my account repository. So you can say we have the PR, compare and open the PR. Okay, this is where we are going to open the pull request, and the pull request is going to be opened into the Twitter Bootstrap, as you can see here. Optimization for Webpack. Docs, add unused CSS optimization for Webpack. Describe your change, motivation, and everything. Okay. Please add links where your modification can be seen in the documentation. I don't have any modification preview in here. Checklist. Where should I be sending the pull request, by the way? Okay, it's going to main branch. Description, this PR. Okay, what can I do here is write pull request docs as per Bootstrap requirements. Okay. Not this one. I think I asked the wrong question. How should I like structure my docs pull request? What I'm going to do is go into the code again and see into the commits. Is there any docs pull request? And just check on that pull request. How this guy has done this. Okay, a description fixes nothing. Motivation explained in the linked issue. Types of change, bug fix, making breaking change, non-breaking change. I have read the contributing guidelines. Okay. Live previews. Okay, we are going to need the live previews as well. So I guess we'll have to set up that Netfly app or cloud that they're using. We are already 1 hour into the stream. Anyway, we'll just continue with this. We have to finish this PR today. Okay, Netfly. I want to sign up. Sign up with GitHub. This is going to be personal. Do I have to fill this all the information? What kind of I'm just looking for websites and the documentation. That's it. Hobby developer. Project's name. I'll just keep Bootstrap for now. Continue to deploy. Deploy with GitHub, please. I want to authorize you only a specific repository. Yes. Act on my behalf. Which resources you can act? Okay. Is it going to give the entire repository permissions? Not only specific repository. I want to give the optimized repository. There you go. And okay, read access. Okay, perfect. Okay, I have to authorize this request now. Okay, done. Perfect. Now we have this repository and let's deploy to Netfly. My bad. I have to go back and change the access again. How can I add the more repository here? I've never used the Netfly before. Okay, let's go in here. Bootstrap. Okay, let's delete this site configuration. Okay, and then I'm going to add a new site here, import existing project from the git. And now I'm going to give access to more repository. Select the repository. I'm going to deploy with the GitHub. I want to edit the authorization, please. How can I add one more repository? Okay, I guess I'll need to configure it on here, so we can just control which repository has accesses. Which app has which repositories access. Okay, we are going to remove this bs5 optimize, and instead that we are going to as the bootstrap only. Okay, save that, and after this it should show us the repository in here. Okay, and we are going to select that. Branch to deploy, I'm going to need to deploy this one. You can keep everything same, I believe. I'm not sure if this will work because I think I'll need to do the configurations and everything. By the way, we haven't till this deployment, like how to configure the deployment. Deployment success. Okay. Not sure this will work. Okay, let's go into the site. And try to visit our site. Interesting. I do not see the page because we did not tell how to build. Basically, we'll need to consider, like, look into the documentation first. Let's go to the bootstrap stock. Not here. I want to go in here, please. Is there any build command or something that we can use? Okay, running documentation locally as well. There is some different documentation. And how can we specify to build? Is ChatGPT going to help? Will command to be set to the Hugo. Okay. and site configuration and build and deploy. I want to configure this one. Build command will be Hugo. Let's save that. Let's see if that works. How can I run the deployment again? Retry with the latest branch. It says building. Create netfly account, new. Set the build command to Hugo and set the publish directory to the public. Okay, and that will also need to change. So let's go into the site configuration, and under it look into the build and deploy and the public directory to be public. So is this public or publish directory? Yeah, publish directory to be the public. Okay, and after this we'll save this and go back into the deployments and trigger another deployment in here. Okay, we are getting the failed build and started building. Interesting. Oh, can I trigger the build again? It worked 25 seconds ago, not now. Oh, it's failing the deployment. Okay, let's go back to the deployments and see what's going on in here. No, it's not working. Okay, do you guys have any deployment docs, please? Okay, no, not on here. Quick start for the install of what's included, documentation, running the local route. Okay, serving the command line. Ask about using documentation. Go and okay, this is fine. Getting started. Basic uses. Okay, I don't want to spend more time. Just quickly go into the deployments. We are getting, it's like failing something for some reason. Wait a minute. building failed. Hey, can you help me with this? Interesting. So we are unable to deploy this. Let's go into the site configuration again. Is there any template or something that we can use? Can we configure the runtime? Gatsby and Next.js. Mm-hmm. Netlify toml set value. Okay, what happens when I run the Hugo here? Okay, let me open my editor. I think we have to switch to another stream here because it's already over 1 hour and 15 minutes. We'll give it a try for a while. And I'm saying just Hugo. What is this going to do? Okay. Is this going to build this side into the code side? There is no public directory, by the way. Okay, it worked. Hugo.yaml, like what's going on here? You know what? Let's remove that public configuration in here. And the documentation of this, like this configuration file already contains the netlify x source distributions under the dist. Is there? No, there is no JavaScript site. There is no index. How this is going to work? Sources. This is just going to build it. Underscore site. Yeah, underscore site is where we have the index and everything. We can try that, but I don't see anywhere this is being used. Let's give it a try again and just try the underscore site as well. Okay, I hope I have saved the configurations. Trigger deployment. Okay, the build completed. Interesting. Building sites. Okay, it says deployed. Okay, let's try to open that. I'm not expecting this to work. Yeah, it's not working. Can we change the directory or something? Because this is not helping at all. Hosting and deployment with AWS net host on Netlify, and assumptions. You have the account and everything. Your sites, you create the site. Do we have this file somewhere? Not sure. I do see Hugo. Okay, then no other file configuration in here. Security Hugo. Nope. Build. Hugo public is something that we want, but it's not working. Get env. We cannot have the configuration of get env. Do we have anything like this in the project? Okay, it's like Rochelle and Hugo base URL blah. And docs build. What we can do is we can just say npm run netfly. Copy that one. Docs build is going to start the Hugo clean print unused templates. Okay, let's try that. Where is our configuration? Our build command is now npm run docs build. Where is the configuration? There it is. I want this to be running npm run docs build, or we could say npm run netlify. Let's save that and trigger one more time. Okay, it's working now. So I think we just had to specify the public path there. And it's since it is working, we will need to confirm it by going inside getting started and then webpack. Under it we have this remove unused CSS docs. Okay, looks perfect. So what we'll do, we'll just copy this one and okay, now in here we have to specify. So I have updated the link in the live preview. I have checked this, I have read the community guidelines and everything. I have updated documentation accordingly and so on. I'll just want to see what one of this documentation pull request looks like. More specifically, we should consider which one that like worked. I mean, that is merged or something like that. So let's go into the Bootstrap and go under the commits. And in here, we want to look into the this pull request that was merged very recently, like yesterday. I want the pull request number, and under it we should see description, very simple, and the live preview. Okay, so we don't need to like, I guess, have a very large description or everything that we see in here. What I'm going to do is if you are unsure, those who do not have to ask. Okay, I am not fixing any related issues. Type of change, describe changes in your details. This PR includes CSS optimization docs for Webpack plugin. Motivation, I was working on CSS and JavaScript optimization and realized there's missing docs So started doing R&D on it. Here's the repo that I'm working on. Oh, documented my research, and the repository is going to be nothing but our github.com bs5 optimize. Includes docs for unused CSS optimization for Webpack. This is not any kind of change, bug fix, new feature, refactoring, non-breaking change. I'm not doing any refactoring, breaking change. No, I'm not doing any of this. Okay, let's view the preview. This PR includes docs for unused CSS optimization for Webpack. Using purge CSS plugin. Webpack plugin. Okay, let's see the preview again. This PR includes docs for unused CSS optimization for Webpack using purge CSS Webpack plugin. Motivation guy, I was working in the CSS, working on CSS and JavaScript. Okay. And realized there's missing docs. So this PR only includes one part of it. Wanted to experience the first PR merge before sending off. Okay, so this one looks better. Docs add a new CSS optimization for Webpack. Looks good. This pair includes docs for new CSS optimization for the Webpack using Webpack plus CSS. But I was working on CSS and JavaScript optimization and realized there's missing docs, so started doing R&D on it. Here's the repo where I have documented my research. This PR only includes one part of it. Because I want to experience the first merge PR before sending all. I was working on CSS and JavaScript optimization and realized there's missing docs, so started doing R&D on it. Here's repo where I have documented my research. This PR only includes one part of it because I want to experience the first PR merge before sending all. And what I'm doing is just updating this one. And send the PR. Let's see like what happens if they revert. We will have to follow and send some changes and everything. Do I have to annotate labels or anything? I don't think so. I think that's it. Yeah, I think we now will have to wait for the PR gets reviewed and see how this thing works. Like, what is it? Draft pull request. Interesting. Open pull request. So there are 113 open pull requests. Add unused CSS optimization for Webpack. And we have passed. I don't know any conditions or anything. Code kill accepted waiting status from report it JavaScript test bundle watch. This branch is out of the okay. I did not check that. It said 2 commits, but I only did 1. Files changed. I think I need to decline this and reopen this because do I have option to delete this? What we'll need to do is this thing, we'll have to go back in here, go into the Bootstrap. The issue is that I had merged the site in here. Let's sync the fork first, and I will need to rebase on the Bootstrap. And under my branches, it's okay. I'll keep this one open because I'll need this docs. This branch is up to date. Okay, let's go to the branches. And in here, what we'll need to do is I want to rebase on the master. And one way to do is just open the project into the PHP Storm. I run the git fetch, and what I want to do is I will need to update the main. and I'll need to check out to, do I have option to reopen this one? Yeah, I have the option to reopen this. So what I'll do is I'll just override these changes and post push. Okay, so let's check out, let's update this one as well and hard reset first one. So git reset dash dash r, I want to reset onto the head one. Okay, now I will need to just rebase onto the remote main. And I'll need to do the git push post. This will override it and only show one commit in there. Okay, and let's go back in here and check our repository, how many commits it's behind the main. It should be like saying 2 commits ahead the main or something like that. Yeah, 1 commits ahead of the main. So what we are going to do is refresh this pull request again. Am I getting 2 commits here? Yeah, I'm getting 2 commits. So what I will do here is let's create another PR. Okay, perfect. And it says only 1 commit and 1 change. And this is what we wanted. Create pull request. And we are creating pull request to Twitter Bootstrap and so on. I'll just edit this description. Docs add unused CSS optimization for Webpack. And our URL, oops, please don't. Okay, I think I lost the changes. Okay, create pull request, preview, open URL in a new tab, and it's sending us to the wrong URL. Okay, so let's do that. Move unused CSS. This is the link that I should be pasting instead of this one. Let's edit that one. Get a preview again. Remove unused CSS. Docs. Okay, perfect. Commit message. Unused CSS or Webpack. Perfect. I think this is fine now. Yeah, I think we are going to stop here now. I will see if the PR is getting updated or not. If any mentor requires to be like any change that needs to be done. If not, then we'll just share the update only through any of one of like either on the YouTube or some on the social media. Okay, yeah, so that's it for the today. We'll see you in the next stream.